of the racetrack now against Parsons.
And his car working very well. Look at him really shoot on trouble in front of him.
One car in the air. Spins around in that big smoke cloud. There are more cars wrecking behind them. Oh, and Waltrip's car had come to a stop and got pounded. Andy Santerre. Oh, last year's Rookie of the Year from Maine. That's Santerre's number 47 that is wrecked. Here is Michael Waltrip's car. And that is Waltrip's car was stopped when it got hit, and it got slammed into by a third machine. Jeff Purvis is involved. There is Purvis.
There's Purvis' car, number 4.
Ned, those cars trailing the play in that cloud of smoke.
He might have had a little bit of help there. It looked like Kenseth might have got into the back. You see the car trying to get up. Those flaps on the roof there help get it back down. That keeps the car from flying backwards and getting all and turning over back there.
But look at all of this smoke, and those drivers coming in there, they can't see where they're going, and they, as Mike said, they're slowing down, and then they start hitting each other and further intensifying the wreck.
Let's show you a different angle of it.
There they're coming off of turn 2, and you can see the yellow car of Kenseth, and you see those roof flaps that Buddy mentioned there. Keeps the car down on the ground, but look at all that smoke.
Adam Petty gets past. Now Michael Waltrip sitting and looking.
Just hoping nobody will hit him.
Well, and he knows there's a lot of trouble behind him because he can see them coming.
Yeah, he's facing them there.
Hillenberg slides by. Now watch, I believe it's Andy Santerre. It is who piles into Waltrip. It's Andy Santerre, and that's how Santerre's leg got injured. That side-on slide into Michael Waltrip. Let's watch and listen from Elton Sawyer. This is from Jimmy Kitchen's car.
He said, I made it through there, but I'm down on the grass.
Another look from the back straightaway as Matt Kenseth turns Michael Waltrip around, and here they all come.
Boy, Ron Hornaday in the 31 just did get by there.
Talked to his crew chief Tony Lambert, who said that it looks like he got hit from the Amick car. So we're going to see if we can't go down and get a word from Mark Martin.
You see the damage to the right front of Martin's car. Apparently a tire cut, and it flailed its way.
Oh yes, you
right
can
on
see.
The right rear corner there.
Shot him right into the wall on the outside. A lot of damage to his Winn-Dixie Ford.
Mark is one of the most 360-degree perceptive drivers I've ever seen. He will call and tell the crew not only what happened, but with who, as he did. And Schrader is on pit road. The pole sitter is in trouble as we look at this final replay angle of Mark Martin's car. 26.
Yeah, the rear goes out. You see him trying to get it up to the wall there.
You saw a little bit of smoke or something as if fluid had come from that car before he went into that turn.
You see the smoke coming out of the back of the car. When it gets oil under the rear wheels like that.
Caution has come out here at Daytona on lap 73, third time today. And this time it's Tim Fedua who found trouble on the back straightaway toward the entrance of turn number 3. Fedua is limping that car around, trying to get it to the pits as fast as he can.
Well,
watch that yellow car.
Right here, coming out of the pack, trying to make a pass down on the inside. Oh no, that was the wrong yellow car. He was back further in there and came out of the pack up against the outside wall and then spins the wrong way. But fortunately, no one hits him, but he does hit the wall pretty hard.
Well, that spoiler and trunk lid kicked up in the air, that car will be hard to drive, even if they can repair it mechanically. Let's show you from Jimmy Kitchen's car.
Something must have happened to that car.
Looked like smoke from the left rear of Fedewa's car. Might have cut down that tire and sent him into the wall. The track.
Your honors.
Let's get set for the restart. Ned Lyndon Amick did not pit under that caution flag, and he is the leader.
Trouble on the start.
And he didn't get a good start. Took Earnhardt with him. Earnhardt didn't get squared away in time. Other cars still spinning and sliding down there.
Mike McLaughlin made contact with Earnhardt in the grass. He's got damage to his car.
And that's Ron Hornaday, number 31. The front of his Chevrolet is destroyed.
And as you were saying, Lyndon Amick did not pit, and he just didn't come up to speed. Everybody else lap car down on the inside.
That's Earnhardt Jr. in second right there.
And see, he didn't get a good start. Earnhardt got a good start, hit him, and then got Terry Labonte involved. Then Todd Bodine came in there. Matt Kenseth got involved in car number 17. There's Phil Parson coming into the picture in number 10.
See Terry Labonte nowhere to go. Right on the bottom of the racetrack. Earnhardt gets into him, turns up there.
And folks, all it takes is the amount of time to try to get your foot from the gas pedal to the brake pedal. Those cars are running so close together and at such speed. From Mike McLaughlin's roof cam.
Well, he sees all that smoke all the way down on the grass, but he gets hit anyway. He thought he had it dodged.
And another thing that happens on a situation like that, you're coming down, let's ride down here with Kerry Earnhardt and see what happens.
And he said, oh boy, I got through there. Jason Jarrett was right in front of him. He got through it.
This is Ron Hornaday, who did not get through it.
He thought he was making the right move, but ooh, there's the hit lick to Phil Parsons, and that was a hard one.
Whew. Man.
Jimmy Kitchens.
He says, please don't come out in front of him, and he did.
That just wailed the left side of Hornaday after Hornaday ran into Phil Parsons.
Mike, as I was saying just a moment ago, watch Earnhardt on the high side as he comes along. Great run. Watch him right there. He makes contact into the back of Amick's car, and here he goes around. That collects everybody.
Now from the blimp, from the Bud 1 airship, you're going to see Earnhardt's blue car come up right against Amick and try to get away to the right when Amick doesn't come to speed. The blue car is Earnhardt. Here he comes. Now he's going to try to get off him, and Terry Labonte gets in the back of Earnhardt.
Exactly.
Of course, Terry couldn't see what was going on up there. He was just following Earnhardt. And boy, that was a mess. Big wreck, not even up to speed.
One pinball and a lot of flippers. Hold on to your chair, folks. Oh. Once again from Jimmy Kitchens. And let's really slow this down from the Bud 1 airship. Now watch the red car. See if he gets into the back there of Earnhardt. Right there.
He did, but Earnhardt got in the back of Amick. He was really in the throttle right there. And you say, how do they do that? But you're in the accelerator. You're not on the brake, and you have to react. And when that car is that slow, all of a sudden you're there, and there's no time.
Now he's on the left side of your screen, and bringing last season's runner-up Matt Kenseth with him.
Excuse me, I noticed Kerry Earnhardt got sideways.
He did. He's around backwards now, spinning down toward the tri-oval.
Jason Jarrett got into Larry Pearson. The other base motorsports car, Tony Raines, is involved.
Jeff Fuller is in it.
Dick
the double
Trickle.
zero. Larry Pearson, Dick Trickle, Johnny Benson, and the number 50 is in it as well, Mark Green.
I saw that happening. He got loose on the high side. I saw that coming about. That's Larry Pearson there. You can see him moving around inside the car. That's always a good sign.
Jeff Fuller trying to drive away through the infield grass. Tony Raines is going to climb out. He moves up from the Truck Series to Grand National this year. And there's a lot of that.
Touch right there, you see, and that gets the car sideways as he starts off turn 4. I could tell this was going to be big.
Pearson 00 spins, gets into the side of Fuller. Racing along the wall there was Green. And the cars like rain slide up the racetrack and into the wall. Let's ride with Kerry Earnhardt.
See, right there, they make contact.
Fastest cars here.
Jeff Green moved to 3rd place now, and he's looking on the outside. Hillenberg in the 18 car and Kenseth are working together trying to make a move back there.
2 laps to go. Don LaJoie, many times a champion at the Danbury Race Arena. And he works hard on pit road, cheering his son along.
And well, he should. His son is a great race driver. And here they come, hooking up back there, trying to make a move.
On the inside, number 32, Jeff Green. Now, as they get side by side, can the leader, LaJoie, get away?
Hey, that's the best thing could happen to him.
Jeff Green got sideways there underneath the 27 car. Casey Atwood almost lost control.
And a big...
Oh, trouble, trouble.
Oh, and one car upside down.
Casey Atwood. And sliding through the grass, Kenseth winds around.
White and yellow flag.
Atwood's car is destroyed. And did the leader get the caution flag?
I believe he did.
If he did, they will slow to the checkered flag. If not, they have to come around. Mike McLaughlin's car, left front torn up. The leaders did get the yellow. So Randy LaJoie, who saw it all unfold in his mirror, can come around to claim his 2nd championship of this race in 3 years.
But he's coming around at a pretty good clip. He's not sure of that, Mike. He's racing right back to the flag.
And wins it. Randy LaJoie. 2 wins in 3 years. And in the final 5 laps.
That's good news to hear. Woo.
Out of your screen.
Andy Hillenberg gets in the back of him, and he gets into the outside wall. You can see the 18 car there. The hood's all torn up on it where he got in the back of Casey Atwood.
Goes right up and almost over Mike McLaughlin.
Goes back down on the back end and then back to the front end.
There goes the radiator and the springs.
Now the good part is that probably looks really bad to the racing fan, but it's sliding on the roof. That's where all the roll cage is. It does not start turning over until it scrubs off a tremendous amount of speed. Now watch him when he hits the grass here. It'll turn over several times there, but the speed is down where it's not like a 190 miles an hour crash.
Casey Atwood's Daytona dream ended 1 lap too soon.
Watch right here when they make contact. He's in a straight line, makes contact there without Andy Hillenberg, who was right behind him, run right in the back of him.
And you see McLaughlin lose control there after he bounced off of Hillenberg as Atwood flew up and over him. Here's a look from behind.
Didn't take much, but right into the back and turned him right into the wall.
You know, it almost looked like Mike McLaughlin might have been pushing Andy Hillenberg, and he had no way to back off.
They were coming down to get the white flag, and certainly were going for it.
Watch this.
You're riding with Mike McLaughlin. No.
No. Definitely Andy Hillenberg got in the back of him. That's all.
Oh, we've heard that too much today.
Wow.
You saw the officials with the caution flag out very quickly as leader Randy LaJoie came to the flag. But as we mentioned, LaJoie not sure if he had passed under the caution or not. Came around at speed.
See him coming in a straight line there. They make contact. You'll see 27 just turn right from the contact from behind.
When that car gets sideways to the wind, a little bit of uncontrollable lift there.
And amazingly, Hillenburg comes on around to finish in 4th place.
You see the damage to the right front corner, but like you say, Ned, he did make it around.
And the best thing that happened to Casey Atwood inside that car is that each one of those impacts took off a little more speed, a little more momentum.
Exactly.
As it went over and around.
If that had happened right there while he was still running 180 miles an hour, it would have been much worse.
Wild ride.
Let's see from the blip and see the relationship. That white car, McLaughlin, you see, is a couple of feet back of Hillenburg. They just touch.
Boy, what a shot. That tells the story.
McLaughlin, 34, almost gets through there. A wild ride for 18-year-old Casey Atwood, a brush with the wall for 18-year-old Adam Petty, and the fellow they both call the old man proves once again at Daytona that old age and experience is a match.
He's made for this type of racetrack. As a matter of fact, at Dover and Rockingham.
Oh, trouble. Chuck Bound. Chuck Bound breaks loose, spins.
No caution.
Now caution is coming out. You heard the spotter say there was no caution. And seconds later, NASCAR said put it out. And we are under caution for the very first time. Tough break for old Chuck Bound, and trouble on the back straightaway now as cars tangle along the inside. That's Shane Hall. You see the 43 on his route.
40, 25, 30 right in that area.
Now, with Jason Jarrett also involved in that over there, they made contact on the back.
A little help, yeah. A little help from a friend there. Maybe he doesn't like tigers.
Look at the 26. Look at Johnny Benson just getting by.
Whoa.
And on the back stretch, well, there you see what happened.
I don't know what happened.
Tough to tell
there.
Exactly. There you see Shane Hall to the low side.
I'm thinking that somebody hollered caution and they slowed down. And
that's Wayne Grubb going by outside wall.
I'm sure it's probably one of those chain
reactions.
reactions.
You can see Jason Jarrett also lock up the brakes on the high side. They made a little contact over there.
That called me and said, hey, it's total.
Well, that's good to know.
I thought I corrected you on that.
You did. Terry Earnhardt. Terry Earnhardt running in 13th spot.
I thought he was going back across the track, Dale.
Stay down.
Matt Kenseth, the leader, has taken the caution, and there is the
All right, all the cars are by. Get it started. Good look like, Frank.
That's the second car.
Hey, looks like he may have got a little tap there from.
Might have gotten a little help from the Kevin Grubb car, the green and blue, number 37. Yeah.
See, that's what when the tires start to wear down a little bit and the cars start to lose grip, you lose traction. If he comes out of that corner, he's in the throttle, and he has to lift just a little bit, then the 37 car's going to get into
He's already sideways.
He's already sideways.
Yeah, he lost control there. He's fighting, and he does get tapped there. That absolutely sent him down through there backwards.
But if you guys tell me, though, if he hadn't had problems in the first place, Grubb might not have run up on him.
Well, he wouldn't have. But, you know, that's defensive driving you got to do as well as offensive driving.
So in for service, lap number 26. And look right there in the middle of the picture. Here comes Jeff Burton.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time.
Oh, problems. Mike Swain gets drilled hard by the Gibbs car. Mike Swain Jr. and Gibbs bringing out the caution. Mean hit. Boy, has that car and team ever absorbed some hits.
Yeah, and back behind there, Matt Kenseth locked up the brakes.
Toughest hits I've ever seen back there. Watch this again. Berrier gets involved there.
Earnhardt checks up on the inside there.
Oh, and then Bessie hits Berrier.
Yeah, something happened to Dale Jr. He just looked like he stopped.
And then behind him,
look at
Swain tried to sneak to the wall.
Boy, that would have been the second week in a row that 18 car turned somebody over.
Well, in the 47, Santerre last week in Daytona, you know, had a
different drivers
crash.
in both cars.
Yeah. Had got around them coming up off of 2, and the 18 car lost it right in front of us. And, you know, when that happens, he bounced it off the wall. He just there's nowhere to go, and got on the brakes. But when it happens that fast, you know, brakes don't do no good. I'd like to thank George Devidart and Joe Carver for giving me this opportunity, and I'd like to thank Chevrolet and Monroe and Kendall Motor Oil as well.
I think Kenseth's car may be just a little bit better on long run, but right now he's in trouble.
Boy, look at that.
Oh, we got trouble.
Big trouble.
Big time. Keller, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Keller comes down and gets McLaughlin.
Dale Jr.
We mentioned Earnhardt Jr. and caution is on the speedway.
Lyndon Amick also on pit road there with torn up car.
There is Amick.
How many guys are racing back here, guys?
There's Earnhardt. You see him into that barrier there, right?
They just get really bottled up.
Earnhardt, you see him there. Everybody got, yeah, you're right. They got bottled up ahead of him.
Now this gets ugly right here.
Now Phil Parsons in that 10 car on the bottom there actually made the first contact, and then look at Earnhardt get knocked into the outside wall, and then he comes across and hits the inside barrier.
And there he gets Lyndon Amick. Actually, I thought the 83 of Wayne Grubb might have made the first contact. It's maybe worth looking at that again. It was tough to tell. Riding with Phil Parsons.
Down in the corner here, let's just take a good look. Down in the corner, watch this right now. Boom, right there.
Yeah, just a little light tap, but it got him wiggling.
Yep.
Eli.
You got it. Why do I even bother?
Eagle eye me. Look at Darrell. He said, I think I'll just leave.
Watch it again, another angle. They'll go up into turn 3 as it starts.
There's Phil Parsons in the 10. Right there, there's
That's
contact.
where he catches.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And it's just enough to get that car bobbling right in the middle of that corner when you're in the gas.
Poor Jason Keller does not even know what happened to him. You see him locked up there. He backs up and gets into Earnhardt there with the left rear corner.
And then watch the 35. He'll come along. Lyndon Amick trying to use the infield apron there if he can. And Keller says, boom. It's kind of like a magnet.
Yep.
Just drew right to him.
He can only dodge so many bullets.
So caution is on the speedway for the 4th time today. He mentioned just as we were going to break, Jeff Krogh in a single car incident, and you'll see on the replay exactly what happened. One of those freakish things that you do see every now and then. And we'll show you the pictures as to how Jeff Krogh's afternoon apparently comes to an end. Pit stops have been taking place, but watch what happens here in DW. You can pick up the musical entertainment.
Raw. You picked a fine time to lose me, loose wheel. Ain't that the way that goes?
Man. Ooh, I'm glad you can drive.
Yeah. Well, I didn't want to be too good.
Yeah, the wheel just came off.
The wheel came off.
And
That's
then it
exactly
comes right back to him. Yeah, tried to hop back on, but...
wow, you know,
You
it
know,
just
looking
looks like
at
no
it,
look.
yeah, I'm looking at the center part. It don't seem to be torn out.
No.
Well,
No,
it doesn't. The center part is there.
That's truly a loose wheel.
Yeah. Must have just pulled away before the pit stop was done.
Now, what can happen, Eli? If the lugs are loose, it'll actually back them off. Yeah.
Vibrate them off, yeah.
Wow, these guys they drive like trained professionals. I've never seen anything like
You've
it.
got caution off turns 3 and 4 now. As in the wall is Andy Kirby, the Nashville, Tennessee driver. Everybody hard on the binders, as you see, and caution is on the speedway. Running in 29th, Kirby is. Wow. 5 laps down to the leader. And
Wayne Grubbs had a right front go flat going into turn 3, and he got in the wall at the same time that Kirby had trouble.
There they are right there.
That 83
from the right rear of the Raines car, maybe some sheet metal damage.
Yeah,
now there's big contact.
There's
right
Hermie.
there.
Sir Hermie Sadler, the 72.
Yeah.
Jason Jarrett will join that fray, and watch this now. From the chopper overhead,
you'll see a car come.
Mine.
Well, they just getting bumped all over the place.
Yeah. That's where Purvis gotten a piece of the action there, and there you see the 83 of Wayne Grubb.
Yeah. I know we didn't do a very good job of explaining it, but it's just hard
to pretty well see it.
It was like pinballs bouncing off each other.
So caution is on the
Roush going on.
Just ahead of LaJoie. White flag is in the air. Last time to do it for Jeff Burton now. Zeroing in on his 10th career victory in the NASCAR Busch Series. The 5th on a super speedway. He started in 30th, Burton did. Not the farthest back for a winner. Steve Grissom started back in 32nd in 1990. But those numbers don't matter to Burton. He likes the numbers he's going to see. In victory lane, Jeff Burton wins. Martin, then Kenson.
Oh, we got one car smacking the wall. The 28 car in the wall up in turn 4. And he hits it a ton as the cars are down across the racetrack. That is Andy Kirby, the 37-year-old say. There we see him going in the corner, and he gets in just a little bit too high on the outside of Terry Labonte. And he gets in too high, has to bring the car back down. When he turns the steering wheel left, the back end just keeps going around. There we see him on the outside. He just turns the steering wheel because he's got to turn the steering wheel to get around the corner. When he does, the back end flies out from under the car and bam! Boy, outside wall.
It looks like he doesn't hit that hard. You see the car come to a stop, and the whole back end is folded up like someone took a giant trash masher and just mashed it in.
The pit, they left a tire, a lug nut loose or a lug nut off on a pit stop. He had to come back in, make an unscheduled stop.
Right now, he will finish 15 positions behind LaJoie, so that will increase the interval there. But I showed you a moment ago, it looks very good that as the white flag waves for Mark Martin, that we'll have 2 Roush-owned cars in the top 3 in the Busch Series point standings. Final lap for the Winn-Dixie Ford of Mark Martin here at Las Vegas. He won a year ago in Winston Cup competition. Has dominated today, getting ready to run on Sunday's Las Vegas 400, but the Samstown 300 will go to Mark Martin as he comes down here at Nemechek in second spot. He flashes by Jeff Burton, his third, and Jeff Gordon will finish fourth with Jimmy Spencer in fifth spot.
And at 17, 32, and 3 are 5th, 6th, and 7th on the racetrack.
The spinner!
That is probably the Chuck Bound. Looks to be the 63 car of Chuck Bound, the Exxon Superflow car, and right in front of the 4th, 5th, and 6th place cars. Bringing out the first caution flag today here on lap number 35. Chuck Bound, hard impact in the turn 1 wall.
Looked like another engine problem. Guy looks like he...
Today. See if we can see what happened.
There we see the car start smoking. And then, as I said, when the engine goes sour, some oil gets under the rear wheels and bam, into that wall. And there we see Jeff Green going by.
Now from the onboard camera, we'll see what Chuck saw.
Here's what he heard. Unfortunately for us, we couldn't feel what he felt.
And he never stopped driving that steering wheel either. He continued to turn the steering wheel, Kyle.
Yeah, just the whole way, but you heard the thing get quiet all of a sudden, and it just turns around on him. He's in his own stuff.
The car runs very well. They're very happy with it. We've made very few changes here. Now it's been on the back straightaway.
All right, the bunch we were watching a moment ago. Car number 15, there is Strader, LaJoie, and Bob. The second in the points. The Oakwood Home Chevy for Kenny Strader. The one of LaJoie, and Adam Petty had just been right between.
This is because we've got, there we see Schrader on the outside. Here comes Randy Little, and just a slight touch from LaJoie in the 1 car. And around goes Schrader, and he drifts up the racetrack right in front of LaJoie, giving him no place to go. So there's the contact, and all the other cars making evasive moves down to the inside.
All right, now from the Bob Evans in car, let's see Randy LaJoie's view from the roof kit.
No, but you see, there's 2 separate groups here, but here they fight for the same place. Boom, right there it is. No place to go. The 34 and the 98 did a great job of working because they come back across the racetrack, and you can see a minute ago, he comes back up.
All right, now from Mike McLaughlin's in car, he just was able to get by. You'll see the contact there, and watch him make the hard left. He and Elton Sawyer able to get by. That brings out the second caution flag today. There is the box.
On our tires, and the car's working really good there, so we ought to be fine. Okay, and they're gambling that last stop might come under green, in which case the fact they may not have to change any tires. A big crash, big crash.
Heavy impact down in the banking in turns 1 and 2. 2 cars involved. There's looks like the 61 car, and there is flame from beneath that car, the IWX Pontiac, and that is Derek Cope. The 80 car also involved. That is, if we can see what happened with these 2 cars on lap 85.
There we see, right there, the 80 cars on the outside. Oh, and Cope hard in that wall with the left side. Mark Krogh was trying to pass Derek Cope on the outside going in turn 1, and obviously it was a spot that Derek Cope.
Okay, let's show you again what Kyle was talking about with that lap car.
see the white car right here to the left of your screen. There's Derek. He's got to give himself room to get into the corner around that. Even though he's a little bit away, he eases up and he gets right in the Krog. And there's not a lot you can do at that point.
And I guess the 29 car, Curtis Markham, that was down there. Ever see Derek Cope stand there with his helmet on?
Well, that's certainly a good sign to see Derek able to get out of the car. That impact the whole.
Suzuki Fest 99, folks. Step right.
Fine for Adam Petty in the Briggs & Stratton Spree Bone Card Chevrolet. Looked to be having a great run going, and just a moment ago, the car got a little bit sideways and tagged the outside wall. That's the best sign, though, the fact that he's able to talk to the crew, grabs the helmet, trying to get the helmet. It's been taped to the cable.
It's taped there, Adam. There you go.
Safety crew's there immediately. He has the window nets down, indicating he is okay. Now getting ready to climb out to a pretty heavily damaged race car.
Corner, Kyle, I think he just doesn't have that wall of air to lean on in the corner and loses the back end.
Yeah, and it goes back to the corner before this. He got hung on the inside on the corner before. He gets in under Todd, and it just gets away from him. And that's all there is to it. It's just he should have probably just backed off a little bit, let him settle back, let his tires cool down. He had tried Todd 2 or 3 times, but he learned something there, believe me. Tore up a race.
Now a little over second in front of him. The last time by was about a mile and a half an hour faster than Skinner was faster than Dale Earnhardt Jr. Oh, Kerry Earnhardt hard and
trying to be clear to get there, look for debris.
And Casey Atwood makes up a lap on this. He had just passed Mike Skinner going into turn 3.
Well, that impact by Kerry Earnhardt will bring out the 5th caution flag of the afternoon on lap 127. Channel lock. Show you again what happened a moment ago. Channel lock Chevrolet, left side of your screen.
The 22 car goes, oh man, I tell you what, the 22 car of Jimmy Kitchens was really lucky because when Kerry Earnhardt wiggled, when he goes up the racetrack, he almost caught Kitchens in the left rear.
Quickly down across the 24-degree banking to the apron. He jams on the brakes so the car will not get back up in front of other race traffic. That is Kerry Earnhardt. He's to be able to keep those lug nuts on, but they're struggling today.
Now, 10 cars did not pit on this caution flag. And they're running 1 through 10. Right now, the 98 car, Elton Sawyer, is the leader. 35 cars, Lyndon Amick is running in second spot.
Amick's car gets very high on turn 2, and they will come beneath him and take the position away. Elton Sawyer is being shown as the leader. That's the Lysol Ford. 3 wide into turn 3. There's Kevin LePage. There's Skinner down on the bottom of the racetrack in the 19 car.
Oh, God, down. And Phil Parsons spins right in front of him.
You're fine. Good job, buddy. All right, Bernie, you got a little bit. Good job.
Mark Martin's in the crash. 32 car Jeff Green's in the crash. Michael Walker, Wayne Grubb, Matt Kenseth is in the crash.
Wow. I tell you what, 6th caution flag of the day coming out on lap 134, and we have a mess at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Almost a dozen cars involved. Let's go down to Bill Weber.
Well, Matt Kenseth was involved, and he just came right across the infield grass to pit road.
Right there behind him. He goes back up the racetrack, pins Lyndon Amick, and as you see, the racetrack, these guys are already running 3 or 4 wide. They're out in the grass. It's a trial. As they come through the grass and shoot back out, look at all the debris going straight up in the air here. We'll see another angle in a minute. These guys are running through into each other as they come out of the grass back up onto the racetrack. You see Phil Parsons get nudged right here.
That's a 64 car of Jeffrey Bodine, and right behind him was Skinner. Parsons up into Amick, and then everything. No one. Here's Parsons trying to keep it out. Amick comes across. There's contact with the 5 and the 22.
And look at the cars running into each other in the grass. And when they run into each other in the grass, the racetrack comes back up on them because it's a trial. So they come back across, and they all end up past the start-finish line, all in a pile right down here.
There's Mark Martin backwards down there in the 60 car. He loops it around. Another angle again. Contact. The 10 car up into the 35. The 35 will come right across, and there's the contact between the 5 and the 83.
Now watch coming toward you. You'll see Mark Martin's car spin to the right side of your screen. There's contact there. Looks like Jeff Green. Now there's the 60 car spinning backwards, and Jeff Green, the 32 car, coming at you. There's Michael Waltrip. Middle of your screen, the Band-Aid Ford or Chevrolet.
I'm going to tell you something. Little Earnhardt and Michael Waltrip did a great job coming through this race. Right in the middle of it and avoid it.
Here's what Mark Martin sees. He heads for the grass. Right there, he runs in the back of Jeff Green. How much damage? You're talking about somebody did a good job. Let's see, Kyle. Let's ride along with Mike McLaughlin.
He speeds nothing. Racetrack's blocked. He's left, he's right, he's back out in the grass, and here he goes. All of a sudden, he got cut just at the right way, and he's out of it.
That's Dick Trickle angle from the start-finish line. Here comes Phil Parsons, Alltel Chevrolet at you now from the Pennzoil Copter Camp from high above. And one more angle at this wild scramble. There's the contact right there. Phil Parsons into aiming. Watch the 83 car up across the racetrack into the wall, coming back. Okay, to tell you those that were involved in the crash as the crew now continues to work. Phil Parsons.
These guys. And there he goes on the inside of barrier. He pulls up behind Jeff Bodine. Now here's the contact between Parsons and Bodine, and Skinner, by being up that far, he avoided being in this accident. All those cars, most of those cars that he passed were in the crash.
Screen, final lap, white flag has been given to that car. Mike Skinner in the yellow freight Chevrolet.
And he still has a 2.5-second lead on Dave Blaney. So these slow cars we see in front of him, Skinner doesn't have to worry about them. All he's got to do is look in the mirror and watch for Blaney.
Skinner's best finish in a Busch car came a week ago at Las Vegas. That was 24th. He will improve on today significantly. Out of turn 4, the checkered flag for the yellow freight Chevrolet of Mike Skinner. He takes the victory here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And here's the battle for the line for position. That is for 5th, 6th, and 7th. And Todd Bodine will nip Mark Martin.
Leader on the car number 47 is on pit road. That was Elliott Sadler, who you heard Ned tell you a little bit ago, got that drawn on the side. But here's Blaney's car spinning around. Terry Labonte makes an evasive move. Jeff Green gets by. There's LaJoie, Mike Dillon, and Blaney will end up being the only car involved as they slow down. And the first caution flag today does come out here on lap 25.
And he's sitting up there on that outside group, but everybody had
in the marbles right there. He's a little bit, and it just breaks around on him.
Looks like he tried to maybe make a move on the outside of Dick Trickle, and as you say, he was just a little bit too high. And there's that battle that Jerry was talking about. And Terry Labonte did move all the way down on the apron, the flat part of the racetrack, to give the other cars room to run.
You know, we talk about the marbles and we talk about that type of thing. We talked about how abrasive these tires are. When these tires begin to wear like that, the debris off the tires has got to go somewhere, and it goes to the outside of the racetrack like that, to the high side. And when you run through it, there's nothing you can do. You're already in.
But caution is out.
There's a caution waving for the second time today on lap 36. They grouped a couple of cars up coming off of turn. Here's what caused the accident, or the incident, when they all began to slow.
See, Mike Skinner gets bumped by the 32 car, and so the cars behind him, I'm sure, had to slow down. They checked up, and when they did, they hit each other. There they are, and they spin around. That was after going into turn 1.
Looks like the Lysol car, the white number 98 of Elton Sawyer, may have been the one that got the worst of it incident as they were slowing down, and gets a little bit of a tag from track.
Boy, he had a great run going. He pulls up beside of him. Goes in very low. Might have had his left wheels down on the flat. Ooh, and they might have touched, and into the wall goes Roper.
Tony Roper into the concrete wall in the outside of turns 4, 3, and 4, and that will bring out caution.
When it does, you know, Brad Loney is right there behind him. Almost like it takes a little air off his spoiler because there's no cushion. He slides straight back up and into the outside wall.
And from the Outlaw copter cam looking down,
you can see him get his left wheels below the white line. Might have been just a little bit of contact there, and didn't take much, and up into the wall he went.
Well, Tony Roper, 34 years of age. A look again coming right at you in turn 4. He smacks the concrete and will bring out caution for the 3rd time today. 55, NASCAR Craftsman truck starts his best finish, a second at IRP last year.
Stop. And here's trouble. Dick Trickle has gotten into the wall, and caution is out. This is the break that Phil Parsons, Elton Sawyer, and the 72 car of Hermie Sadler were looking for.
Words shoved in that car. Boy, second week in a row that Mark Martin in the late laps has been a victim.
And you see the way Mark Martin's hood's torn up.
Mike Skinner just tagged the wall there a moment ago.
Yeah, and then
almost got tagged again there.
Jeffrey Bodine just drives in up in the back end. But you see the way Mark's hood is all bowed up like that. Mark has been up under somebody's car. He's been way deep up under somebody's car.
Yeah, I think he took off and somebody in front of him didn't.
Oh, the whole front of that Winn-Dixie hood is shoved back like someone took a giant can opener to the sheet metal. Right behind the 72 car of Hermie Sadler.
There's where the damage did some damage to Hermie's car on the right rear. However, he's still out there running. He's in 4th place.
Oh, it doesn't take much, and there's the crew now.
As he gets the white flag right here with 1 lap to go. About Winston Cup guys running Busch races, but it's really, really good. And I'm a Winston Cup guy to see the Busch guys kick some rear end today and run up front like they have all day long.
3 of the 4 events in 1999 have been won by Winston Cup regulars. LaJoie, the only one from the Busch ranks to win. He won the opener at Daytona.
2 major feathers in his cap here this weekend. One, if he goes on to victory, which it looks like he will, and the other is being chosen by Jimmy Maycar and the crew for that Interstate Batteries Pontiac. That's
well, he will get them both because he has won the Diamond Hill Plywood 200, and he.
Matt Kenseth, and we got a car in the wall, Mike. Coming out turn 4. Hard crash at turn 4. Part of the racetrack where the drivers are hard on the throttle. And that car is going to roll up and come to rest here just before the start-finish line.
Now the question is,
it is.
Now the question is, the leaders have all stopped. How many of the guys have stretched the stop and maybe didn't come in under the green flag?
Jeff Green, Dave Blaney, Jeff Burton.
So we'll take a look and see when he's already into the wall, and you can see it. The car stays up next to the wall, rides it all the way around off of turn 4. The other car's going by on the inside. Then he starts to come back down in the middle of the racetrack, but that gives those Kenseth before he gets back on the lead lap.
Former truck champion against the Winston Cup champion. Skinner versus Gordon. LaJoie got hung on the high side. He cannot advance.
Trouble.
Adam Petty. Hard in the wall, turn 2. Caution.
Adam was running in 26th position.
A year ago when Bill Elliott's father passed away, they asked him to drive the car in Dover, and he drove a great race up there, finished 6th. He's never been out of the top 10 in 2 Winston Cup runs.
Adam Petty slides along the turn 2 wall.
I suspect that he went into the turn. We didn't catch the start of this spin, but he's probably on the outside. We'll take a look from the in-car and see if we can determine anything.
Okay, he's down in the 1 there, a little high, and the back end starts to break. He tried to catch it, and around the car went.
That's what I was about to say. He probably got in there just a little.
A lot of discussion here about what Mark Martin is going to do. The crew is ready for his pit stop. Trouble on pit road.
No, hard crash at turn 4. 2 cars. Atwood is one of them. Spins across traffic, and everybody snakes their way through hard on the brakes. Spinning also Purvis.
Purvis also one of the top 5 cars
Jeff Krogh is that yellow car, Ned, down at the track apron. He and Casey Atwood got together.
And the fact that Mark Martin had committed himself to come into the pits, of course, he has gone back out, but that might have let some cars get back in the lead lap that had made a pit stop.
Here they come.
See how the scoring figures out.
Matt Kenseth in trouble at the start-finish line.
Trying to get back on the lead lap. He spins all the way down through the grass.
Whoa, look at the front valence there. He's got a lot of damage to the front part of the car right in that area right there. Aerodynamics won't be the same anymore.
He was trying to beat Mark Martin back to the line, Ned, as you pointed out, and was flying off turn number 4. He had to go to the grass.
Oops. Casey Atwood looked like just slipped up the racetrack a little bit into Krogh, and around they went. And then here comes Jeff Purvis trying to dodge. He got down on the grass and just lost traction, and he spun down the front straightaway here.
Now everybody's snaking their way through. It's going to be a while. See it again.
They touch right there, and you can see Krogh hard in the wall on the driver's side of the car. Casey Atwood coming right at you up against the wall.
Boy, Krogh took a hard hit with the left side.
On the driver's side, yes, and you can see Atwood's car staying up there next to the wall. This is Atwood, and this is Krogh down here. And then we're going to see Jeff Purvis come into the picture.
And Jeff Gordon right there as he goes down.
And everybody snakes their way through. Now looking for the leader, who is not yet there. And there goes Kenseth. He came across the line. If that was Jeff Green, he came across right at the same time as Green. Out of control. And a perfect day for Matt Kenseth is not such anymore.
The leaders up there, as they run side by side, though, that's a break for him to get back up to speed on the outside. He's
trouble, very two. 3 cars slide, 1 in the wall. And
that's Jeff Purvis right there. And
this is Earnhardt Jr. And Jeff Gordon is involved.
Oh, man.
Caution is out.
And, of course, Michael Waltrip and Elton Sawyer do get back on the lead lap.
Oops. Earnhardt's got a lot of damage to the left rear there. Mike is almost dragging the ground.
And Purvis's car is well torn.
Back of the 4 car, and he starts to wiggle. Jeff Gordon tries to get by, gets touched just at the last moment, turning him around.
And look at Gordon on the left of your screen do a nice job staying off the wall. Or maybe it's the laws of physics that did a nice job keeping him off the wall. From Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Okay, the 4 car right there. You can see him going down in the corner. Earnhardt comes in pretty hard there. Right there, he touches him just a little bit to get him wiggling, and around he starts.
You're so close to being out of control anyway, and didn't take much of a bump. And around he went.
Now we'll ride with Mike Skinner and show you his view.
And he's right on the Jeff Gordon's back bumper, and in fact he gives Jeff Gordon a little bit of a bump, and Gordon almost got through there, but had too much going against him, and the rain is starting to fall, guys.
Yep.
And the umbrellas, they're out on the front straightaway.
Skinner sent Gordon left, then Earnhardt sent him right.
Boom. Just a little touch, not a hard lick. Boom.
Ooh. And now it's raining. The day may end just the...
And 1 car in trouble here on turn 2.
R.D. Smith, the 19-year-old rookie, making his first ever Busch Series start. He's been racing late models for 3 years at tracks like Ace Speedway, running in the Carolinas. And unfortunately, his debut may have come to a halt at 1 lap. Happened to him. Look way up on the right side of your screen in turn 2. There he goes.
I think he just got a little too high, Mike, and maybe got up in what they call the gray stuff and a little bit of loose grit and gravel up there. Car got loose from him and got out from under him.
Ned, it looked like he maybe turned a little bit, got sideways, tried to correct, and then maybe touched the brake just a little bit, and it shot him straight up.
So that crew will have a lot of work to do to get him back into this. 7th into the clutches of 93 Dave Blaney. The hood is up on Dick Trickle's car, and in the wall is Justin Labonte in the front straightaway.
No caution yet. He's going down into turn one. And he's
hard.
Right in front of the leaders.
He hit the opening there, a little place there where you can go across the racetrack. You could see the right front corner was broken off there. No steering whatsoever. It veered right into that opening there, hit the wall where you go out of the racetrack.
We're under caution for the second time today. What happened here?
You could see the back of the car getting out against the wall, and then it snapped the front back into the wall. At that time, it broke the steering on the car. He's just along for the ride, plus the brake lining there. You can see he cannot stop it as he goes down. Now watch this opening right here. As he gets that opening, the car turns into that outside wall.
And really tears the car up then.
Here's a look from the speed shot at start finish. Wow. Doesn't take long for things to happen here.
Yeah, when you hit with the back of the car like that, it's going
to... All right, Todd Bodine has made it underneath Jeff Green. Trouble turn 2. One car has been spun around. That's the number 90 of Brad Loney. Everybody else.
Caution is out as
down the front straightaway. From Mike McLaughlin's car. There's the 90. Oops.
Ooh, Dale Earnhardt Jr. ran up, thought he had an opening down on the inside. They made contact, and around he went.
Another look at it here.
That's not going to change. He gets the left rear corner of Loney there, turns him around, goes high. Now he says he's going to drift back up. See everybody checking up and trying to get to the bottom of the racetrack.
34, McLaughlin lost 3 positions because he was in the high groove, and that's where...
Once you start looking in the mirror, running that good line up out of the corner, sometimes it's a little awkward.
Jeff Green, your leader, number 32, trying to get past McLaughlin, and caution is out. Jimmy Kitchens has cracked the turn 4 wall. The Alabama driver who had to go to a backup car after a practice crash yesterday has ageless racing ace Red Farmer on the radio with him, his crew chief, but Kitchens has spun at 3.
And it looks like he's really hooked back up as we were just heard.
Trouble turn 3. One car in the wall, that's Tony Roper, and he has hit it hard.
Yes, he has. Back to car number 61 into the wall. You see the left side up against the wall.
Caution is out, and Chuck Bound also has a lot of damage and a lot of smoke as he rounds.
Coming from under the deck lid. You wonder if maybe it's a gearing problem, rear gearing problem.
It's the tail end of Tony Roper's bout into the wall. I saw him slide up and hit it, but did not see if there was any contact that caused it.
Well, Chuck Bound was just behind him. As they much quicker, just moved over and let him go. What a battle this is. And look at Earnhardt. He's turned it up here and moved into contention now.
And here, Green has caught Sterling Marlin.
Oh, one car. I think that's Fidoa very, very hard into the wall in turn 1. That is Tim Fidoa. Turned around and backed it in and stove in the rear bumper area and sheet metal all the way to the fuel cell. He's okay.
Well, this track has not been too good to Tim Fidoa. I think he had a third and see what happened. Well, he'd already lost control by the time Cameron picked it up.
Yeah, he was in the wall when Fuller got into him.
Yeah, that was Jeff Fuller, who was also involved.
Whoops, he's pointing at somebody.
That was Jeff Fuller.
Okay.
Tim Fidoa is not.
Now, Rena gets a good run.
Oh, makes a pass going down in there.
Sterling, I don't know.
Sterling sideways.
He's got a flat tire.
And takes Kenseth with him. Matt Kenseth spins to the inside, and everybody's got to thread the needle to come to the caution flag.
Sterling Marlin did a very smart thing. Locked the brakes up, did not come down into this traffic. That would have been a huge wreck if he hadn't locked the brakes up.
And Kenseth is having a hard time getting going. He backs up the racetrack, and he's going to get away. And now Marlin.
You can see the back of the car there. The left rear is already flat. He turns around. Look at Kenseth, little contact there on the left front corner. As Sterling goes up, he locks the brakes and does not come back down the racetrack.
As we watch it again, the back end just because he has no traction on that left rear. And here's Kenseth coming in there, and the yellow number 17 gets just a little piece as their front end's hit, and Kenseth spins down to the inside.
And Ned, Kenseth also impacted the inside retaining wall as down in turn number 4 with the nose of that car. So he has more damage than from just this slight bit of contact you'll see right there.
And you wonder if that close racing that Green and Marlin were doing together, if maybe Green might have got against him just a little bit and against that left rear tire, maybe clipped the valve stem or something like that, as we see the end of the accident again.
Well, let's ride with Sterling Marlin into turn 3.
He's coming off of turn 2. He knows he's got a flat tire.
He knows that. Down the back straightaway, you could hear him check up just a little bit there. He had problems halfway down the back straightaway.
Now, here's what Joe Nemechek saw.
That's a split-second decision you have to make.
Now, Matt Kenseth will come in to check the front tires on his number 17, and he won't be allowed to change one. And round for the white flag. Looking for his second Busch Series triumph. Atwood in second. Alone in third is Keller. Big battle for fourth. That fourth place battle just took the white flag. Owensboro, Kentucky. Jeff Green, youngest of those 3 racing brothers, is going to get his second Busch Series win. Checkered flag on Green. Atwood is second. Keller will be third. Here's the race for fourth. Bodine tried it. Couldn't get it. McLaughlin couldn't.
They're trying to avoid him, and he was just trying to get her back up. The 40 car.
And now behind him, car is spinning. There's the 7 car, the 1. LaJoie's involved. Michael Waltrip involved.
Kyle, that's a perfect example of what we're talking about. It looked like a harmless spin, but these guys are going in the corner so hard you just can't see what's in front of you, and 6 or 8 cars involved in the crash.
Yeah, a harmless spin by Stant Chevrolet for LaJoie.
That was the right rear spring of Randy LaJoie's Bob Evans Farms car that we saw laying there. We see Stanton Barrett goes in the crash. The same spot that the 43 car Shane Hall had trouble. We see Stanton goes up. He really doesn't have any problems. There Michael Waltrip spins. And look at these cars as they pile into these other cars.
You've got cars going down pit road, cars going down pit road and start back up on the racetrack. Hard hit.
There's 7, Joe Buford, that runs in to the rear of Randy LaJoie's car.
There's Jeff Purvis, the Lance Chevrolet up there. Matt Kenseth avoids it.
You know, we play this back in slow motion, and you look at guys like Joe Buford and you say, they should have slowed down. Believe me, this is all happening in about a half a second.
Riding along now with Stanton. He spins. Now it'll all happen to his left, coming right at him. Watch the 7 car go by. Now from high above in our Outlaw Additives copter cam.
There's about 3 different wrecks going on there. There was a Stanton Barrett wreck, and then was the crash involving the 21 car, and then Lyndon Amick, on back 100 yards behind that, was tagged from the rear by someone else, and he spins out.
And now you see Stanton Barrett just puts his car back in gear and pulls away, but boy, what a tough few with the 27 car. All right, second caution flag today, the 00 of Larry Pearson, the Cheez-It Pontiac, spins around. Looks to be the only car involved, and that will bring out caution here on lap 23 for the second time this afternoon.
Well, it's doubtful he's the only car involved, but the other car probably didn't hit anything, Jerry. Pretty good damage in front of that car.
Oh, he did, the front of that car. Of course, Larry Pearson, the injured at Texas, he had fractured his pelvis, as he came out just a moment ago.
Now we see the 63 car and the 00 together, so I guess that is where that 63 did receive the damage to the nose of his car. All right, let's check and see. This is on board with Chuck Bound, the Exxon Superflow onboard camera, going in turn 3. Oh, I see where all the damage came from, but I think there was a touch just as he came off the corner, wouldn't you think, Kyle?
Yeah, just as he came off the corner, you could see Larry's car drift up, only about 2 feet, but that was just enough of an opening that Chuck took it, and when he did, they just tapped each other.
All right, there's the front-end damage on the Superflow Chevrolet. I'll show you a moment ago what happened to the car number 43. It happened in turn 2. Now he's entering, I think, 1.
But see, actually, the trouble started over in turn 1. Oh, and it ended in turn 2.
I'm not sure it ended in turn 2. I think he still got trouble. It just stopped for a little while.
All right, so, whoa, we got a car right in front of the leader.
Turn 4 up there. You got 2 up high. Stay low, straight through. Stay low. The leader has got it.
That's Tony Raines in the 74 car. Jeff Krogh in the 56 involved. A couple of cars barely getting themselves stopped in time. All right, we'll show you what happened.
Right in front of the leader. And we see Adam Petty and Mike McLaughlin barely gets by. We see the damage between Tony Raines and Jeff Crow. And here's Matt Kenseth. Oh, there's Phil Parsons runs in the back of Tony Raines. I thought he ran the back of 17 because there was some damage to the back of that car. But his damage came when he ran the back of the 74 car.
All right, we'll show you from the Breaking Stratton roof cam of Phil Parsons. Here they come down the back straightaway, headed into turn 3. That's the 74 car right there that it slows up. Phil tries to get the car slowed up. There's contact. And here's Tony Raines trying to get in behind pit wall. Apparently has no brakes. Can't stop.
Right now on turn 4.
In the Winston Cup Series. Ooh. The 59 just got turned right to the outside wall. Right.
Got a ring behind you in turn 1. Got a ring behind you in turn 1.
Now there's the 43 of Shane Hall, the 53. That is Hank Parker Jr. involved in the caution flag. And look at the debris all over the racetrack. That's out of the bumper cam or the roof cam.
And once again, it goes back to what Kyle Petty was talking about. I think the wreck happened probably 10 cars in front of these guys, but by the time it got to
the 59 car right here behind Kenny Schrader and those guys, he gets turned right at the start-finish line. He hits. These guys are checking up a little bit, and the accident happens back behind them going into turn 1.
everything happens so fast, you're running so fast this racetrack, if something happens in front of you, it just takes a miracle to not be involved.
From the Lysol roof cam, we'll take a look at Elton Sawyer's vantage point. And, well, there's contact with Mike Dillon in the Kingsford Chevrolet. All right, from Shane Hall's roof camera. Down into the back of Glenn Allen. Glenn Allen, the Barbasol car, and there, nowhere to go is Hank Parker Jr. So that's why those two cars had contact down in turn one.
There is Shane Hall. Tell you what, doesn't take long to run a lap here, folks. Oh, we got Adam Petty spinning on the backstretch. And also, Andy Kirby goes around.
Seventh caution flag of today. And coming out on lap 118, Adam Petty, who had worked so hard to get that lap back in the Spree Chevrolet. Spree phone card sponsorship on that car. He was involved. And
tell what happened. Ever see Adam got together, looked like with Ed Barrier. And Andy Kirby gets punted from behind. And Sterling Marlin goes down between Adam and the inside guardrail.
Now watch this roof camera of Sterling Marlin. And now from the Superflow roof cam of Chuck Bound.
Oh, that's why Andy Kirby all of a sudden spun, because Chuck Bound backed him in the rear bumper.
All right, working caution for the seventh time today. We are not even to the halfway point yet. Still 4 laps away from half.
If there's a caution late in this race. Meanwhile, Jason Keller, the race leader, is desperately trying to protect his car. Now we got a crash into.
That is Brad Loney, and here comes the 17 car of Kenseth, sliding sideways into Loney. The 41 of David Green is involved, and how that could shake up the points race. Boy, 2 weeks in a row, Matt Kenseth is victimized by a car spinning right in front of him. Now, last week at Nashville, that blow for Kenseth.
Play.
Okay, here's the incident just a moment ago. Lap 135. 90 car goes across the racetrack.
And here comes Matt Kenseth. Bam! He tore up the pieces.
Hard hit.
That was a very, very hard hit. There's another car up on the outside wall.
I think the car to the high side is the 63 car. That's a hard hit right there. See, the 63 car tried to go up around Mike McLaughlin. That's Mike McLaughlin and Bobby Hillen and Chuck Bound right there, all run together trying to avoid it. He's got no place to go. He thinks he's got it cleared at this point because they're down the racetrack. And then, boom, Mike comes up. He ramps over him, hits the wall, and there's Bobby Hillen gets into them, and Bobby's got no place to go.
Well, last week, whenever Matt Kenseth tagged the 14 car that was spinning, he ended up getting a 15th place finish at Nashville. He will not be nearly as lucky today. This is a very, very hard and very violent impact into the left rear of Brad Loney's car, which had spun. And then, of course, the final contact from the front by the 41 car of David Green.
And that 17 car is a brand new race car today.
It was a brand new race car today.
Watch this hit right here. When you see this hit right here, it's right, it's in the right side door bars, right there at the weakest part of the frame rail where the clip comes together. That's the kind of incident right there that you just junk a car because it bends the center section of the car. You hear people say we replace the clip, a front snout, or
a nice spot. All these cars running more position without Pick Adam Petty. He's a lap down, isn't he, Kyle? Oh, there's the Kevin Grubb car. Almost.
No caution yet. No caution. Everything's clear. Come on. 10 hard. Come on.
Oh, now we got a wreck.
Caution will be out when you get there. Caution is out.
And Flames underneath one car. That's Chuck Bound Superflow machine. Comes to a rest just prior to the start-finish on lap 176.
See, Steve Grissom gets in the back of Kevin Grubb. That's what started the spin. Meanwhile, Jeffrey Bodine and the 34 car, I guess the McLaughlin ran in the back of Jeffrey Bodine is where it broke his radiator.
Yeah, I think that's a good call. I think you're exactly right on that when he hit him so hard.
All right, let's go down to the pits and Bill Weber. One pushing the car back. He's the crew chief. We'll see if we can show you again what happened in this incident.
37. Now, this did not bring out the caution flag. That did not bring out the caution flag. But meanwhile, right behind him, I guess the water. Right, Kyle?
I think you're exactly right, Benny. I was just getting ready to say you're exactly right. When he run into him and knocked the radiator hose off, this next crowd gets into it. You see the cars just start taking off, and 3 or 4 of them take off. It's not like one car just spins. There's 3 or 4 that never make contact. They just spin in the water by themselves.
So that was a 0-0 that spun. Here's the channel lock roof cam for Stanton Barrett, right behind our leader. And watch our leader go low. And Barrett just gets by on the inside of Chuck Bound.
And here's what we were talking about. Kyle and I were talking about. Well, there is some contact there, isn't there?
There's a little bit, but
I think water was had something to do with the crash.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say there's something on the racetrack too, because when he was riding around, just throwing out so much stuff, and they didn't leave much water in the garage stall there when he pulled in the pit.
Well, there's Mike McLaughlin behind the wall, and Sterling Marlin has just made it. Okay, let's wait. Let's see where the second place comes.
Oh, see Jeff Green in the wall, and now he is crashing. Jeff Bodine in the side of him. Another caution flag is out. And this caution flag, and here comes Adam Petty, and boom, he slides in the side of Jeff Green.
Yeah, he got hit from behind right there. But we was talking about the 57 car. The 57 car picked up 2 positions there in about 3 corners.
That was the 64 car of Jeffrey Bodine was who made contact with Jeff Green. And there we see Jeffrey Green goes up, and boom, once again they get together. There they come off front. Watch Jeff Green. Bam, he runs in the outside wall, and Jeffrey Bodine goes in the left rear. And meanwhile, all these cars trying to stop, and back there we see the 89 car of Jeff Fuller gets in the back of Adam Petty.
All right, from the Snyder Trucking Chevrolet of Dick Trickle from the roof cam, and they come off the 36-degree banks. Straight in front of you. Wow. And Dick Trickle able to get by. Now from Elton Sawyer's Lysol Ford. Let's see how he gets through that. Smoke, debris, sheet metal. He said, I'll just go down on the very bottom of the racetrack. Well, there's the contact. Boom. They hit this. That's no light hit either. And watch Jeffrey Bodine go up across the side of the car. Wow. Contact continuing here at Bristol Motor Speedway as we bring caution number 10 out on lap 198. We are 50 laps away, ouch, from conclusion here at Bristol, and it continues to get hotter and hotter soon.
And that time by 1.4 seconds behind, as you see. And Dave Blaney is fine. Oh, he runs in the side of Clint Allen, and
huge accident. Bill Parsons involved, McLaughlin involved, Jeffrey Bodine, Glenn Allen, one of the cars involved initially in the incident. Wow.
He didn't break the radiator the last time, but trust me, he broke the radiator this time.
That one's going to be terminal for the day. There's the luxury travel coach's car for Jeffrey Bodine.
Boy, they hit a, well, you saw Gil Martin and Bill Davis and the Dave Blaney crew watching, looking for the replay. Let's show you what happened here. There's Blaney's car already spinning. He spins all the way down the backstretch. Now here, you see he's got the wheel turned to the right. And there, when he lets go of the brakes to continue forward, you don't realize where the wheels are turned. And we'll see Jeffrey Bodine coming in. Phil Parsons will also come in. Watch this.
It's like Benny said, he goes back up the racetrack, then these guys are trying to get by, and, you know, he's set sideways in the middle of the racetrack. This backstretch is narrow, people. There's not a lot of room for a car to be set sideways. We're on Blaney's camera.
This comes off turn 2, he's going to spin.
Gets on the flat right there. So,
now watch the next contact. Here comes 34. And then behind McLaughlin came Phil Parsons. So again, to tell you, we'll show you Phil Parsons, Briggs and Stratton roof cam, and wow, watch his viewpoint. Following McLaughlin. Oh.
Man, oh man. Phil had no place to go. He's following McLaughlin, hoping that they're not running fast enough to get into it, and they both end up right in the middle of it.
So again, the cars involved. Mike McLaughlin, the 34 car. There's Dave Blaney, the 93 machine. Glenn Allen's 36. Phil Parsons in the car number 10, the Alltel Chevrolet. And Jeffrey Bodine in the 64. Watch. I talked about the wheels being turned to the right. Watch Dave Blaney. He's spinning around. He's spinning around. Car's still backing up. We're going to really slow this thing down. Now, when the car comes back around and starts pointing forward, you're going to see which way look at the wheels. Look at the front wheels, how they're turned. Dave Blaney doesn't realize it. He don't know which way to turn because he's lost sight of where the wheels are. Now, when he lets off the brakes to continue on, look what happens. He has no choice but go veer dead right because of the way his wheels were turned. And heavy impact with Glenn Allen. Great call, BP. Those wheels got him right up across the racetrack into the Barbasol Ford. There is Jeffrey Bodine, the Dennis Shoemaker car spinning. And, of course, right behind this, the impact of 3 cars involving Phil Parsons and Mike McLaughlin. Let's check in. And here comes the leader. And the white flag is in the air. He can't afford to back off now.
He can't afford to back out. And he's got to catch him just right. Here's the thing. You got to remember, Earnhardt can catch him, but these guys are too wide in front of him, too. So it's just whether you take the right lane or not.
Here comes Earnhardt closing in. Final lap out of turn 4. And even with traffic, Jason Keller will win it by 2 car lengths. Earnhardt is second. Here's the battle for position. Kenny Wallace and Todd Bodine. It'll be Bodine, then Kenny Wallace for 5th and 6th spot. Boy, there's a happy camper. It has been 102 races since Jason Keller won in Busch competition. There's Steve.
And we see the smoke coming out from the Air Jamaica Vacations automobile. And luckily, no one other cars involved.
He really is, Doc, and we're just talking it over down here about what's going on. They've had a chance. Oh, we got a problem on the racetrack.
A tap from behind, and Jason Keller does the pirouettes. 360 comes around and does come into contact with the inside wall off of turn 2. Bringing out caution for the first time today. The IGA Chevrolet, our most recent winner, coming off of turn 4. And Jeff Purvis will be able to get in front and get his lap back. That's the car number 4 coming your way there in front of the lead.
Ever see Jason on the very bottom of the racetrack? Just a little touch from Todd Bodine, looks like. Started to go over. The roof flaps we see are deployed on the roof. Kept the thing on the ground and inside that wall.
If you're not familiar with those roof flaps, they are stall strips on the roof of the car to keep the cars from getting up off the ground and getting airborne. Another angle looking up the straightaway.
When you say it's just a slight touch there from the 66 car, Kyle?
Just a slight touch, and it doesn't take much. You know, we'd already, Jason had helped the 34 car get to the lead. Terry Labonte had turned left on him getting in the corner and drove down under him. Whether Jason's car was working like it needed to be or not, I don't know, but just a slight touch right here. You see the 66 car right here to the left of the screen.
Going down in turn 1, right along with Randy LaJoy, the Bob Evans reference. Right in the middle of the screen is Jason Keller. And come up and right there, just a slight touch, and around he goes. And that could have been big. Luckily, the car spun off the racetrack down to the inside. Not luckily for Jason, but for the rest of the field. It was lucky that he slid down to the inside, not to the outside.
October had a good run going as we have another incident. The car.
I think that was Adam. I think he and Blaney got together right there coming up out of the corner. I think Blaney jumped up into it just a little bit. Just one of those deals, man. When you race that close, that's what happens.
And caution will come out as they come across and make it lap 52. And that will be a break for Mike McLaughlin, not a break for Adam Petty, the 18-year-old driver of the Spree Chevrolet.
Take a look as they come off the corner. And right there we see the contact between Blaney and Adam. And I tell you what, Adam does a great job to keep that car going straight as we see Ed Barrier back in the Lear car make some contact with Kelly Denton. A lot of contact back there for no more crashes than this, Kyle.
Yeah, a lot of contact. You see Adam get out of shape right here. He comes down into Blaney, or Blaney comes up whichever way, but he gets out of loose. He comes back down into Blaney, then up into the outside wall. You see Ed Barrier get hit right here and move to the outside, and they begin to split. And this is where these guys are a lot of inexperienced drivers, but they drove like they were veterans. They just went to the inside.
By David Green. Now they're going to try Dale Earnhardt Jr. on the outside. Ooh. Oh! Schrader hard on the outside.
Schrader up high on the outside. Cars sliding on the inside. 2, 3, 4, 5 cars now sliding, careening together in turn 1. One car erupts in flames down in turn 1 as they continue to have impact. As now there is flame burning all the way across the racetrack. The rear end impact apparently rupturing the fuel cell on the back of one of these Busch cars. And what we dread at Talladega has just taken place here on the go. 11 cars in a draft in the Tri-Oval.
Then we see Kelly Denton. Kelly Denton runs up into the back of Kenny Schrader. And that's what we're talking, the bump drafting. When they pick those rear tires off the ground, that is a problem. Turned him in the outside wall. There goes Jeff Green, and meanwhile, here comes this huge pack of cars with nowhere to go except into a smoke where they can see nothing, Kyle.
Yeah, and it's exactly like we always talk about. Then Schrader gets hit again over here, and that's where the fire starts. You saw somebody come down off the bank and hit him again. But we talk about Talladega. There's always multiple wrecks. Schrader was one wreck. When Kelly Denton runs in the back of Kenny Schrader right here and turns him, there's your wreck right there. Then all of a sudden, somebody runs in the back of the 32 car and spins him down. Here he comes down across the thing here. He spins. There's your wreck right there. There's plenty of room to get through. The guys behind them, they can't see it. Somebody checks up. The next pack starts running into each other, and you'll see them start running into each other right here. They kick the 59 out of position here. All of a sudden, the racetrack is blocked. You can't see anything. You're driving in there blind, and everybody runs over everybody, and there's no place for anybody to go.
Now the Briggs & Stratton roof camera from Kenny Schrader. Buckle up and ride along as you watch this accident at 195 miles an hour. There's the impact. Continuing to spin around 360 down in turn 1. Now here's traffic coming right at him. He almost comes to a stall and gets hits again in the backside. The Jeff Krogh car erupting in flames. When Schrader got hit the second time, there was fire on the racetrack, and the fire ran all the way back down to his race car along that trail of gasoline and reignited.
There was Shane Hall driving in. We see Phil Parsons, Brad Loney. I mean, they must have half the field down in turn 1. Once again, we see Schrader hard in the outside retaining wall. Debris flying every place. Now watch this. Here comes a big wreck. Our camera moves, but watch the big wreck. Oh, that sounds so ugly.
And you see the fire running over to the back of Schrader's car. It actually started on the racetrack. That second impact, there was gasoline that must have had hit both sets of fingers crossed and toes crossed. He could not see a thing. We're talking about Stanton Barrett and the Channel Lock Chevrolet. Watch his route through the accident.
He drives in on the smoke, and we see Larry Pearson go by in the 0-0. And Stanton must not be doing 20 miles per hour, and that's about the right speed to drive through there.
That's exactly the right speed. You see Larry Pearson right to the right. By the time they get there, it's like nothing ever happened. It's just like you came through a fog.
Check the bottom and be in front of 17. You do the same thing you've been doing. Watch your mirror, stay in front of 17.
But Nemechek's spotter is exactly right. Protect the bottom and stay in front of the 17, and that's what Nemechek's doing, is protecting that bottom. It's going to take the 17 running up on Nemechek, making him a little loose, making him push up, and then trying to dive to the inside, and the 3 going with him, just like this.
Final lap.
Watch your mirrors there, buddy. Watch your mirrors.
15 cars, nose to tail, inches apart at almost 195 miles an hour. Nemechek with a challenge from Texas Terry. Labonte up high. Nemechek down low. It's Labonte by half a car length. They are half a mile from the checkered line. Texas Terry Labonte trying to make it. The start-finish line. They come to the tri-oval 2 by 2.
I don't have a clue.
Well, NASCAR scoring.
Car has scraped the wall. LaJoie, the 2-time series champion, has come into contact. He more than scraped it. He came into contact hard with the right side. As his car now slowing, still up high on the racetrack, and we have yet to see a caution flag.
We're going to see a caution flag.
Shape gets up in the loose stuff and just it takes off with him. And there's nothing you can do because the racetrack's still green in that area. Even though there's not been a lot of laps run, there's a lot of dust and stuff up there.
Let's ride along with Randall LaJoie and listen as he goes in the corner. Gets a little bit loose, and listen as he goes on the wall. Oh, what a terrible sound.
And debris having come off the Chevrolet Monte Carlo of Randy LaJoie. Ending crash off of turn 2 here on lap 16 involving 3 cars. There is Phil Parsons, Alltel Chevrolet. In the car number 10, Mike McLaughlin involved, and Kevin Grubb.
Terry Labonte.
We've got the 10-car Phil Parsons. The 34-car of Mike McLaughlin makes some contact. Phil backs in the wall awfully hard. And also the 37 car is going to be involved. That was Kevin Grubb. Top of your screen, you see Kevin Grubb's car spin. There's McLaughlin, the impact you saw a moment ago. Now up high, left side, that is Phil Parsons' car. His Chevrolet up against the wall. As the cars began to scatter out at a different angle, looking across the racetrack, Kyle, you can see those cars impacting, but Parsons hit hard.
Yeah, Phil looked like Phil must have just got pushed up out of the groove a little bit, and his car just spun around and hit the outside wall extremely hard. But the third
steam, goals pumps, and little trees. But we'll be back next week loud.
How's your hand? Is everything okay?
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah.
Okay, so the driver's okay, the car's not. They're definitely done for the day.
Well,
the draft is coming into play. They get a couple of wide, and we've seen it happen. Casey got dropped to the back.
And a crash over 33 car. That is the young Jason Jarrett, 3rd-generation driver in the Bayer Chevrolet. Bill Bumgardner-owned machine will bring out caution for the 3rd time today. Yes, he is the grandson of Ned Jarrett and the son of Dale. Check out C from the onboard camera, the Rayovac onboard camera.
Mike Skinner is in the wall.
Mike Skinner's yellow freight Chevy. It happens in a hurry here at California. Well, the caution flag waving for the 4th time today. Here on lap number 57. Mike Skinner looks to be okay. He pulls off. We're under caution because of the Mike Skinner incident. Let's see if we can show you from his camera what happened to him. Man, 2 wide, they were 3 wide a moment ago, and the guy driving that car number 9, Jeff Burton, well, he will lead him down to the green flag on Sunday afternoon. Whoa! Loses it, and around he goes. So far, he hasn't hit anything. He spins it a complete 360 down in the grass, and he does not hit a thing, and the caution will come out. Wow! His foot now back on the throttle. He puts it back in gear. Can he get it out of the grass and stay on the lead lap? The caution comes out. Here comes the leader. Here comes Elliott Sadler. That's
The orange car made a daring move. Tried to get underneath the 53 car of Hank Parker Jr., and I guess Kylie just had to turn the wheel a little bit too much.
Yeah, I think he tried to turn it a little bit too much. I think he tried to force something right there. They run up on the 40, on the 53. There wasn't line. He should have checked up, got back in line. Easy for me to say. I'm sitting up here. He's wanting to lead the race. But I'm just saying, it just tried to force something there, and it just wasn't there. The car jumped out from under him. Right here, he's gone.
And Jeff Burton and Matt Kenseth, very, very fortunate that neither of those cars made contact with the Delco Chevrolet as it was spinning around.
And they had made their pit stops. As you see him spin once again, Kenseth going by on the bottom of the racetrack. Traffic moving up high. Tony Raines, the rookie, up on the high side. Earnhart's car down across the grass. And the bad part is some of these guys who had not pitted, like our leader, Elliott Sadler, were about a half a lap. But now, Dave Blaney slips up right in front of the 5 car, right in front of Dick Trickle.
Something happened to Blaney as he came off that corner. I don't know if the engine quit. Oh, the other car, we see Jeff Krogh around and around him. And David Green heading for the inside wall. Also, Tony Roper.
That's Jason Keller in the 57 car, sliding around along with Krogh.
Here comes Earnhardt. He's got that lap back. He's in front of the leader.
The 47 is the leader. He comes down to the yellow flag, and he will be back on the lead lap. Wow, what a break for the defending Busch Series champion. This latest incident off of turn 2. Let's show you again what happened.
Come off the corner, and we see that looked like Jason Keller just made some contact with Jeff Krogh, and Tony Roper, all he's trying to do is dodge.
Tony Roper, he was already down there, turned left as hard as he could. You see him still getting up through here. That's a dangerous place right there. You see that wall jut out right there. They were very fortunate that nobody got into that far, and both of them were able to crank up and continue on their way.
There again at different angles. They come across that little grassy knoll. There's the IWX car. Roper coming right at you. Right side of your screen, back against that retaining wall, is the Krogh car and the Jason Keller car.
And you heard Tony you say, we're in our prime right now. These tires are in their prime. This is what Dale Jr. wants.
Oh, and Jeff Green, hard contact. That's up in the interest of the pit road. And was that Hank Parker or, yes, it was Hank Parker Jr.
The car 53 and the 32 of Jeff Green. Heavy damage on both those cars as we are almost to 10 laps to go. There they sit on either side out of his car. Heavy damage, lots of debris just coming off the track in turn 4. Here's what happened just a moment ago.
You ever see Green's gone up, he smacked the wall, and as he comes down, I guess Hank Parker Jr. is not going to have anywhere to go. Nope. Man, look out. Oh!
Hard contact right there. And Hank Parker had already committed to go that way, had no place to go. There's not a lot you can do at that point in time.
He had pulled all the way down out of turn 4, down on the pit road to miss the spinning car of Green, and Murphy's Law right in front of him is where the car comes across. Here's Green spinning again. Watch Parker, left side of your screen. I'm trying to miss him, and wow, right in the front end at about 165 miles an hour.
See, Hank Parker is out of the car.
Really good drivers in Matt Kenseth and Jeff Burke.
You can actually visibly see the interval beginning to shrink now from high above California Speedway. Is there enough time? 3 laps, and 3 laps only. It was 15 car lengths. Now it's 10. Whoa, contact! Todd Marine's car goes around.
Hard contact to the left side. And the race is going to be over when he gets back to the line. The car back to the line is going to win.
And there they are, racing into turn 3 for the final time. Back to the caution flag. It is Kenseth, Burton, and Earnhardt Jr. Here comes Burton, 3 car lengths, 2 car lengths. The caution flag is waving for the 8th time. Who will win at California? Matt Kenseth will take the checkered flag. Burton is 2.
Tremendous contact and a lot of debris. You saw the rear bumper panels come off and a lot of the pieces, parts and pieces come off. These guys are just racing as hard as they can. You see these 2 cars get together right here, the Kingsford car and Fedor. They go into there 3 wide. All of a sudden, this car comes up onto the 66 car because they're all checking up a little bit, trying to find their way. And, you know, Todd's got no place to go.
That was Lyndon Amick in the 35 car, I think, made some contact in the left rear of Todd Bodine.